My dreams fade and die. How apt, as Fabrizio Romano has informed us that Ruben Amorim probably will not be the next manager of West Ham United. I'll tell you exactly what he said in a few moments' time. But for those of us that got really excited after David Ornstein broke the news yesterday and confirmed that West Ham had already had talks with Amorim and that was their top target to replace David Moyes this summer, even though we got excited and you started to dream a little bit, there was always this wave of reality that it was unlikely to happen and that it was an ambitious move from West Ham. Well, that's been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano today. He has said, understand after initial round of talks, it's highly unlikely to see Amorim as new West Ham manager. Discussions not expected to advance after meeting in London. Talks on standby with Liverpool since last week. Amorim keeps his options open. I guess the most interesting thing about that is the confirmation that there was actually a meeting, because when Ornstein broke the news yesterday, mid-afternoon, 3 o'clock-ish, a lot of stuff came off the back of it and there was a lot of rumours flying around, a lot of reports. Almost immediately, it was a case of he's getting on a private plane, he's going to London, there's a meeting with West Ham. Then a few hours later, he's back in Lisbon. He was caught by the Portuguese media after arriving there with the biggest smile on his face. Did you see how big that guy's smile was? That looked like a man that had gone to London and got exactly what he wanted in wages for his next club, which would be West Ham or Liverpool. But even that, there was uncertainty over who he was actually meeting in London. But it was a very short visit. He was back in Lisbon last night, and the only thing he said to the Portuguese media was, see you Saturday. Because Sporting have got a very big game at the weekend. If they win it, they win the title, and he's obviously focused on that, understandably and rightfully so. But I would argue he's not that focused on it. He probably is, but if you're going to fly to London for a meeting with another club, I'd suggest your focus is also on next season and which club you may or may not be at, as well as that title game at the weekend. But then today, Fabrizio Romano has provided that update, and like I said, it's not that surprising. It would be more surprising if he actually joined West Ham, as far as I'm concerned. I was more shocked at when the news broke that we were trying to get him. I was more surprised at that than I am about the news that Amorim doesn't want to come to West Ham for whatever reason. But in between all these rumours, there's been a lot of talk and reports regarding what Amorim actually wanted and what the meeting held. But there was one thing that concerned me a little bit, actually, and that was, why was he in London for a meeting regarding coming to West Ham? That's what we're going to be discussing today, as well as all the other nitty-gritty bits regarding rumour. If you're new around here and you enjoy the video, please do subscribe. Also drop a like on the video as well if you enjoy it. Both things are free. It helps out the channel quite a lot. It makes me very happy. Just like going over 38,000 subscribers yesterday. Made me very happy. Let's see if we can bump that figure up a little bit. Anyway, right then, Ruben Amorim. The thing that I found interesting was that it stated that West Ham had a bit of an advantage over Liverpool because we were prepared to offer him more money. We were prepared to offer him a hefty transfer budget in the summer because there's a bit of a rebuild required at the club. And we've got a bit of wiggle room with the PSR stuff because of the sale of Declan Rice. The club are set to post their biggest ever income expected. I always think that's going to happen every year pretty much for every Premier League club. Surely every year your income increases. While we're posting that, we're also probably posting our greatest expenditure in a year. But regardless, West Ham should have a pretty healthy transfer budget this summer, especially when you compare it to the other clubs in the Premier League and European football. We will have a lot of money to spend. But there was also a report that stated we were prepared to sort of let him build his vision at West Ham, what he wanted to do. And I thought that was really good, because while I'm very pro Steidten's in charge of transfers, the manager has to have a say in it. The manager has to be able to say, well, actually, I need this type of player, that type of player. This is the positions I need. And it's up to Steidten to go and fulfil those needs using what he's got in place, the infrastructure he's got at West Ham. And he's been here a year now, so I'd imagine there is some things in place. And some of the new people in the recruitment side of things have only been here a couple of months. But because the likes of Hans is very data-driven, very data-driven, effectively, he could start, and within a week, he should already have his bits in place. Because while he'd be scouting in Germany, it won't be too different. The players that they'd be looking for aren't too different to what we'd be looking for. You'd still be looking for the same qualities. So I'm quite hopeful for the summer in terms of the recruitment side of things. But here that we were sort of allowing Amorim to build what he wanted at West Ham, that was good. Now, there's one thing that concerned me, and I think there's two things that concerned a lot of people, but I'm not that bothered by it, and I'm going to explain both why. So I'll tell you the one thing that I felt was a bit weird. When there was this talk, he was coming to London to meet West Ham. Now, he could be meeting anyone in London. It doesn't really mean you're meeting a London club. I think if you're flying to Aberdeen, you're probably going to meet with someone from Aberdeen. But when you come to London, it could be literally anyone. Not even necessarily a UK club. We've seen the likes of Bayern Munich do their business in London before. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be an English club. But the reason I was a bit disappointed, weirdly, is because if we go back to the summer, when Tim Steidten was recruiting the players, those three, Konstantinos Mavropanos, Edson Alvarez and Mohamed Kudus, all three occasions, Steidten he went on his jet, Tim's jet, he went on his jet, and he flew off, and he went to the player and got the player. So I just thought, why, if Steidten's the one in charge of this, if he's the one that's leading this drive to get Ruben Amorim, why is he not going to Ruben Amorim? Because it would make sense, wouldn't it? He's a manager, he's a busy man, he's a manager, he's got a big game at the weekend. Why would he not go there and try and get him? Why have we got Amorim to come to us if that's the case? And Fabrizio Romano has confirmed discussions have took place. And this is where my worry is. That would suggest the only reason he would come to us is because it ain't Tim Steidten that he was meeting, and then that would maybe feed into why he's after discussions yesterday he's no longer interested. I wonder why that one is. But it would almost confirm to me that Sullivan is the one leading the negotiations. Perhaps maybe it was Steidten that identified him, and might be Tim Steidten said this is the man you want to go get, and Sullivan's going, okay, let's go get him, let's bring him in and have a little chit chat. And obviously he's been put off. It might be Amorim might be playing a game and using West Ham for PR and trying to drag out Barcelona, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, trying to say to these clubs, look, I've got an option here and they've got a lot of money, they're offering me a lot of money, come on, let's see what you've got to offer. We don't know, it's all a guessing game at the minute. But that was the one thing that weirdly concerned me, is the fact that he came to us rather than Tim Steidten going to him, just like he did to recruit the players. And that concerned me a little bit. I would have preferred to have seen Tim Steidten getting on his private jet and going over to Ruben Amorim. That would make me confident that's West Ham he's dealing with, and make me confident Tim Steidten's in charge of this. But the fact, I don't like it. Now, there's two things that concerned a few people. Not just the fact that would he come to West Ham. I think we all had that question about us. One was regarding compensation. I mean, his wages as well. It is only rumours, this, but the rumours that came out last night or this morning was that Amorim wanted 10 million a year, pounds, after. So he wanted it net. That was his pay net. Now, I had a little Google. Turns out that's just under 19 million he would want paid. 19 million a year. That is a lot of dough. Now, I had another little Google. Pep Guardiola's on a little bit more than that, but essentially he would have become the second highest paid manager in the Premier League behind Pep Guardiola. More than what, and I appreciate Klopp's leaving, but he would be on more than what Klopp is today. No, still nowhere near Simone. 30 million a year he is in Spain. He's got a cushy job, hasn't he? 30 million a year for a manager. But anyway, that's what Amorim wanted. 10 million net. That is a big wage for the manager. But it doesn't mean that we can't afford it. But the thing that concerned people was the compensation required to get Amorim out of his contract. Everyone knows he's got a release clause. Nobody knows what it is. The reports vary. Around about £12 million is the sort of the average price. Some say it's as high as 20, some say it's as little as 10. But regardless of what it is, 12, 15, regardless, it would take a change of attitude and behaviours for David Sullivan to begin paying compensation for a manager. But I'll go back to what I said earlier regarding PSR and how West Ham are quite flexible in the transfer window this window. We've probably got a little bit more leeway than most clubs. And that's why I believed, maybe stupidly, naively, that, and to be fair, it may still happen. We may go buy a manager out of his contract at a different club if we can't get Amorim. But 12 million, it's not that much money. You know, you'd pay that for players. Why would you not pay it for the manager? And the manager's compensation comes out. It hits your PSR line, just like when you sack a manager, that hits it as well. Everton, in their second points deduction, within that financial period, was the sacking of Frank Lampard, which cost them 7 million. So that's part of their PSR. And this is why we can't afford to get this wrong. Because if you want to sack your manager and you've got to pay him up front, that hits your finances, and it can be a bulky number. So we were to go get Amorim on 10 million a year, or 18.5 million a year, and it wasn't to work out for whatever reason. That's a hell of a lot of money you've got to fork out. So the compensation thing, I think we'd get over it. And the issue for West Ham would be he's going to want a release clause in his West Ham contract as well. Why wouldn't he? He had it at Braga. Why would he not? He's had it at Sporting. Why would he not want it at West Ham? I think it would be fair to assume he would want a release clause in there so that if in future a Liverpool or Manchester United or whatever came knocking, they knew what they had to pay. But I guess this works in West Ham's favour. It doesn't mean it has to be 10 million. Hopefully you could have got it at 20, 25 million or something. But again, that hits your PSR as well. If somebody came in and activated that, that counts as income for your club. So the compensation thing, I was sort of willing to overlook it. The wage demands, I think, was a bit bulky. 18.5 million wages. It doesn't mean he's going to get it, of course. He can demand it all he wants, but he's got to find somebody willing to pay that. I think that's unlikely. But it goes to show he's not coming cheap. And the second thing, which a few people sort of raised their eyebrows, and well, hang on a minute, and I don't buy into it, and that is it's like a rumour just to drum up season ticket sales. Well, first of all, the story came from David Ornstein, who I think is, in my opinion, the best football journalist. I think he's the best one. I think he's the most credible one as well and reliable. Not for West Ham news. He rarely has West Ham news. Rarely. But he's not a David Sullivan puppet. He's not somebody that's ever leaked things on behalf of West Ham United. He's got no reason to. He doesn't need West Ham exclusive news. Clearly, he got that from somebody that's not involved at West Ham, whether it be Raul Costa, Amorim's agent, or otherwise. I don't know where he would have got it from, but he's a very well liked and very well respected and got a good network of information. Ornstein does. He doesn't need to make stuff up about West Ham. He just doesn't. The Athletic's a very credible outlet as well, but I think he's fantastic. I really do. So the fact it came from Ornstein, I think, was significant. If it came from one or two other people on the West Ham side, then I understand the suspicion. But second of all, who's renewing their season ticket based off a rumour on the internet? Surely nobody is. It's when I see us linked to players and people say, season ticket renewal time. Well, it is also season ticket renewal time and the summer transfer window. It's usually close together, isn't it? So naturally there's going to be transfer rumours as we approach the transfer window. And that is when the season ticket renewal window is. But who's renewing their season ticket based on a rumour? I hope nobody. Now, Jordan, one of the subscribers, one of the 38,000, made a good point. He said that, and I said to him, surely nobody's... Do you really believe someone's renewing their season ticket based off a rumour? And he replied, and this was fantastic, and I might misquote it, but you'll get the point. And his response was but that good. I couldn't even reply. I did reply, but I had no comeback on it. It was that good. He nailed it. He said, yeah, but it doesn't mean Sullivan isn't stupid enough to think that nobody will renew their season ticket off the back of a rumour. And I just thought he nailed it for me, actually. I thought, so well done to Jordan. It tickled me, that did. But game, set and match to him. I had no comeback on that one because I found myself agreeing with that. I thought, yeah, he probably does, Sullivan. Anyway, there you go. So it looks like Rúben Amorim shall not be the next West Ham manager. It's unlikely, as Fabrizio Romano says. But it did confirm we had discussions yesterday where, well, something happened that put Amorim off joining West Ham. Maybe it was a person he met, but like I said, I might be putting two and two together. That's what we're all doing. We're all guessing. We're all taking the information that's been put out there, the rumours that's been put out there. We're all reading it. And we all believe certain people. We all don't believe certain people. And we come to our own conclusions based off the information we are given. But like I said, so that's why I might be putting two and two together and coming up with 5. But the one thing that stood out for me in all this was why is Amorim coming to London when previously Tim Steidten's the one that's been getting on that plane and travelling to get our players? Why, if he's in charge of recruiting the new manager, why is he not going to Rúben Amorim? That concerned me quite a lot, actually. Now, it's good. I like the fact that we tried to get Amorim. I'm disappointed that we didn't. Hopefully it's not done yet and there's still something we can get done. But it's a case of, well, who's next then? That's what worries me. That's what worries me. And I think out of everything in the last 24 hours regarding this, while it was exciting and I got carried away, I was thinking, wow, my word, this is going to be a fantastic appointment for us. I've already gone back to the, oh no, who is it? Please not Julian Lopetegui. I still do not want that guy. Anyway, I might publish that video tonight, actually. If anybody's interested, it's 24 hours old. I recorded it yesterday, but the Amorim thing came in, so a video may appear later. And if you think this is old, you know why. But I'm going to shut up and disappear. If you've enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up, subscribing to Hammers Chat, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. I should have a guest. We should have a longer forum podcast discussing everything. So I should have a guest, so I'll catch up with you then. See you in a bit.